Hello, my name is Dan Muth, and I am a student at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater pursuing my MBA in management. In my professional life, I work as a manufacturing engineer, mostly dealing with process improvements, capital budgeting, and cost reduction initiatives. For my persuasive talk assignment, I will be discussing why telecommuting or remote working was not a favorable business strategy for an office-type position. I want to make clear that I will just be focusing my persuasive talk on telecommuting for an office-type work position, since I do see value in other areas such as sales and consulting, where the workforce needs to be out of the office working directly with their customers. Let's begin. Today, businesses, particularly those who make money on the internet, seem to be paying much more attention to their staff and their work environments. They are solely focused on how they can really get the most productivity out of their workforce. Companies such as Google and Apple are paving the way for telecommuting technologies. They are making it very economical and user-friendly for people like us to use every day. Yet, these same companies are investing heavily on corporate campus environments. These campuses are built to keep the workers on site with the resources needed to get them through the day. They see the benefits that come from team building and increased collaboration when they can keep their workers socializing with each other and fostering breakthrough ideas. These campuses harness huge corporate potential with strong workforce energy and very high worker retention rates. I will be discussing common pitfalls that come with telecommuting for both the employee and the employer. On the simplest level, telecommuting makes it hard for people to have the kinds of informal interactions that are crucial in the way knowledge moves through a company. The role that hallway chat plays in driving new ideas is critical for company growth. They allow people to get out of their ruts and think of things that they might have otherwise missed. When people spend time with each other, say in a break room, they aren't wasting time, rather they are usually having highly productive conversations about problems encountered on the job. Another point is that some workers struggle with switching off from work, while others have trouble switching on. Working at home means workers have to manage all the distractions of their personal life, both good and bad. If a worker has small children around, they may be demanded attention and need to help out. Or the TV may be tempting to turn on to watch a show for a couple of hours. Without the filters that many workplaces set up, remote workers have constant access to time-wasting websites, personal emails, and social networks, all which can be deadly for productivity. Workers who work remotely need to remain very disciplined to put in the same amount of effort at home than say they would at the office. In regards to the employer, telecommuting makes the workforce technology dependent. Since the workforce is not face-to-face with colleagues or clients, employers need to make sure everyone is easily reachable by email, phone, and other platforms that may be in use. Also, if a worker is having technical difficulties, they are left to fix their issues themselves, since they do not have an IT department at home. This can lead to frustration that otherwise would not exist if the workforce was together. Telecommuting can also foster trust issues between workforce and management. Management can be questioning if a worker is putting in a full day's work when they can't be checked on. It can also be demoralizing for other workers who still have to come into the office when others aren't there. Wage and hourly compliance can be another legal issue found with telecommuting. Employers covered by the Fair Labor Standards Act must monitor and accurately record all hours worked by non-exempt employees and follow minimum wage and overtime requirements. Keeping track of hours worked, including when breaks and meal periods should be paid, can be difficult. For the opposition side of the argument, one might say that avoiding commuting stress would be a benefit to telecommuting, but does dealing with the stress that can arise during the day at home prove to be any different? Windshield time can be proved very beneficial to an employee to reflect on ideas from work and transition from a work life back to a personal life. Most of the opposing side benefits, which I listed on the screen, deal with isolation of the employee, such as having less contact with sick people. But does this isolation really help the employee grow to his or her fullest potential? For example, a worker might not fully understand emotions being expressed through conversations carried through emails with other colleagues. This isolation can inhibit conversational potential between workers, making tasks less productive. An employer may be saving on office resources and parking fees, but overhead costs will always be part of a business. These cost-saving justifications are usually transferred into additional technology resources. Telecommuting also makes it possible to avoid costly relocation costs, but if a company really wants to grow its workforce and bring in something that is not local, they need to sometimes make those investments to bring them in and assist with relocating them. Retention of talented employees can also be possible with telecommuting, but how much more effective can they be to the company if they fail to collaborate with each other on a face-to-face business? You would have more innovative ideas with the workforce coming together than if everyone was working by themselves. In summary, the fundamental point is that much of the value that gets created in a company comes from the way in which workers teach and learn from each other. If telecommuters do less of that, the organization will become weaker. Yahoo's CEO Marissa Mayer recently made a ban on telecommuting to help re-strengthen Yahoo's workforce. So as telecommuting becomes more and more accessible, it's interesting to watch these industry leaders maintain an old school approach on how they are structuring their workforce. This is why I feel telecommuting is not a strong business strategy for a company that is looking to grow and innovate. I'd like to add that this was a very interesting topic for myself since I am pursuing my MBA completely online with no direct classroom time. I'm in my first semester and so far it's been interesting to be remote from campus. I'll leave you with a quote from Marissa and how she defends her position on Yahoo's telecommuting ban. Thank you. People are more productive when they are alone, but they are more collaborative and innovative when they're together. Some of the best ideas come from putting two different ideas together.